100 Christmas films. And the way this 100 films was selected was I went to 5 different sources that narrowed the scope each time. So for example, the first one I went to was Rotten Tomatoes 65 Christmas films, the best Christmas films they had. Then I went to Good Housekeeping, which also had 65 films. Then I went to an Esquire list, which was 60. Time Out, which was 50. Town and Country was the next and final source, which was 40 films. So in other words, it was a smaller list, so it got harder to get onto the list essentially. And doing that, we had a few films that appeared on just one list, a few films that appeared on every list, and a few films that appeared on some of them. When this was all said and done, there was 15 films that appeared on every website there is. Okay, those films are Christmas Story, Bad Santa, Christmas Vacation from National Lampoon, Die Hard, Elf, Home Alone, It's a Wonderful Life, Love Actually, Meet Me in St. Louis, Miracle on 34th Street, Scrooge, The Muppet Christmas Carol, The Nightmare Before Christmas, The Santa Claus, and finally, The Shop Around the Corner. So, those ones are immediately through to the brackets of 32. Then we had 10 films that appeared on 4 of the lists, but left or maybe missed out on one of them. So that was A Christmas Tale, Christmas in Connecticut, Edward Scissorhands, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Klaus, or Claus, goddamn, Santa Claus, While You Were Sleeping, White Christmas, Polar Express, The Family Stone, and The Holiday. Those are also true to the bracket of 32. So that's 25 films between those two that have appeared in at least 4 of those lists. Then we were left with 18 films that appeared on 3 of them. And this is where the fighting started. Of those films, we have A Christmas Carol from 1951, often called Scrooge with Alice of Sim, A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas, Arthur Christmas, Batman Returns, Carol, which is the film with Cate Blanchett, not like A Christmas Carol, Gremlins, Happiest Season, which is a recent one, Krampus, The Best Man Holiday, The Bishop's Wife, The Night Before, Black Christmas, Deck the Halls, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, aka The Grinch from with Jim Carrey, Four Christmases, Jack Frost, Jingle All the Way, and Prancer. There's 18 films there, but there's only 7 spots. So what we did is those 3 films were divided into 3 groups. 2 films could get through from every group, and the one final film to make up our bracket of 32 I could select as a kind of a personal saviour if I felt the film was getting hard done by. So those 18 films that I just mentioned, that were mentioned across 3 lists, have been put into random groups. The first group, and only 2 of these can get through unless I decide to save one of them, is Deck the Halls, Happiest Season, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas from the year 2000, Prancer, The Bishop's Wife, and Carol. I'm not gonna lie, this is a tricky one for me because I've only seen one of the films. And I kind of feel like if it was in a lesser group, it wouldn't get through. If this was a tough group, I wouldn't put this film through. But it definitely has become a kind of a Christmas classic that people really enjoy, even though I don't have any personal affinity for it. And you could even argue that there's better interpretations of this. Certainly the television special comes to mind. Of course, I'm talking about Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I'm going to put this film through because I do think, visually at least, it makes me feel kind of Christmassy. And I'll explain the criteria when we get to the brackets of what is making me pick a certain film to get through. And again, it's my personal list. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. Or, I don't know, you can email me, I guess. Send me a letter, like you're sending a letter to Santa Claus. I'm wearing the hat, of course. Then, I have not seen any of the ones. I haven't seen Deck the Halls, haven't seen Happiest Season, haven't seen Prancer, haven't seen The Bishop's Wife, and haven't seen Carol. But I'm going to put the Happiest Season through, because it's recent. I've heard it's good, I want to check it out. And it's kind of like a modern kind of Christmas comedy. I think we only get so many of those. There actually is a few that also got relegated to this list. And I feel like, you know, it's hard to tell with some of the more recent films whether they're going to be Christmas classics, because I think it takes some time to just be considered a Christmas classic, you know. And I think, you know, Carol is like considered a great film, you know, won a lot of awards, but I don't think I've ever heard anyone really mention it as a Christmas film until now. It might be a great film, but I don't know if it's a great Christmas film by that regard. Prancer, I heard no one ever talk about this until it came up on lists when I was going through this. Deck the Halls, I remember people saying wasn't very good. And yeah, because of that, I mean, The Bishop's Wife is very old. I haven't seen it. I'm sure, maybe it's good. I'm not sure. But again, there's other films that would kind of fill that classic older Christmas film category. So because of that, from our first group, I am putting through The Happiest Season and Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Saved Christmas. stole Christmas. I'm just calling it The Grinch. Okay, we know what one I'm on about, not the recent one. Then we have Group 2. And Group 2 is a tricky one. It's kind of almost like an old Christmas category. We have Gremlins, we have Black Christmas from 1974, Jack Frost, The Best Man Holiday, A Christmas Carol from 1951, and Batman Returns. That's right, Batman Returns, a Christmas film. You kind of forget that. For me, this is a no-brainer. For me, Gremlins is a massive Christmas film. I love Gremlins at Christmas. So I'm putting Gremlins through straight away. Now, the thing is, though, I have only seen 2 of the other ones. I haven't seen Black Christmas as much as it seems like it will be right up my alley. I haven't seen The Best Man Holiday. I think that's a sequel, so I haven't seen that. I saw Jack Frost long ago. I don't really have any love or affection for that movie. People kind of really like that movie. I kind of see it get like a bit of wave of support. I think it's shit, personally. And look, I'm sorry to A Christmas Carol 1951, but I think there's already better versions of A Christmas Carol on the list and in the brackets. In fact, at least 2 I can think of. So I just don't think you're getting through on that regard. So apologies. And I'm sorry, Jack Frost, but if I'm going to put one Michael Keaton Christmas film in, it's going to have to be Batman Returns. Which is, again, I don't think it's going to get very fair because it's not one that makes me feel particularly Christmassy. But from Group 2, Gremlins and Batman Returns. We're going for a nerdy alt Christmas with those 2 picks. And then we have Group 3. Group 3 is a death group. We have Arthur Christmas. We have 4 Christmases. Krampus, Jingle All the Way, The Night Before, and A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas. Oh, I'm definitely going to save one of these. It's going to be in this group. This is a tough group. Oh, Arthur Christmas, again, is one that I think in a few years, I think people are definitely going to consider a Christmas classic. I think it's still taking its time to kind of get there, though. 4 Christmases is another one that I was like, I remember people hating this when it came out. So I guess it's just time that things get considered, and that kind of stands to my point, but I'm not going to give it any points here. The last 4 I really like. Krampus, well, I don't like all of them that much. There's Krampus, there's Jingle All the Way, The Night Before, and A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas. Okay. I want to put a Christmas horror through, because I think horror hasn't been well represented here. And there is a subgenre of horror Christmas films, and because of that, and I really like this film, I'm going to put Krampus through. So I'm going to put Krampus through. And then, for me, okay, personally, it would be out of The Night Before, and it would be out of A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas. And I kind of prefer a Harold and Kumar Christmas. I think that one a lot more fun. It gets me more in the mood for Christmas. I think it has a strange, I won't say it has more innocence, but it has a kind of a bit more festivity to it. And because of that, I would put that through, leaving The Night Before in the cold. But I've got one film worth saving. I don't want this to just I don't want it to just be this is my list, because if it was my list, Night Before would be at the save. But I know people love this film. I watched it last year and it didn't hold up personally, but I know people love it. It has definitely stood the test of time for a lot of people, and because of that, getting into our bracket of 32 is going to be Jingle All the Way. So that means the film saved here to make up our final bracket of 32, Very Harold and Kumar Christmas, Batman Returns, Gremlins, Happiest Season, Krampus, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas 2000. I was going to say here, henceforth known as The Grinch 2000. But yeah, I just said that earlier and it didn't stick. And Jingle All the Way. Well, folks, the brackets are drawn, and it is, to put it mildly, an interesting one. There are some very strange matchups here, but we will see how we get on. Again, this could be a total disaster. We could have got a random bracket, and it could just be that some of the best ones get eliminated, but we'll have to see. That's part of the fun, I guess, and part of the unpredictability. And isn't that what we like at Christmas time? Unpredictability. Hey, thanks for checking out this video, but this actually used to be part of a larger Christmas special I did about 3 years ago, and I'm posting it into smaller digestible chunks for good reason, because I want you to have your say. I want you to tell me who you think should have won this matchup, and not only that, I want you to tell me what films you think should have made the cut into our tournament and didn't. You can let me know in the comments of this video or any of our videos, or more accurately, on the Pop Cult Pod socials on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, which is where I'll be posting the polls. You have until Friday, December 20th to get those votes in, and on Christmas Day, it's not just your drunk uncle that's calling over. I'll also be coming to give you who should have won our Christmas tournament and what films should have made the tournament if we made it today. So be sure to subscribe to see the results of that poll and for lots more Christmas content from the Pop Cult Pod.
Let me know your votes in the comments below now.